The airport buzzed with hurried footsteps, overhead announcements, and the rustling of boarding passes. Business class passengers lined up, eager to board the 6:40 a.m. flight from Dallas to New York. Among them stood a striking black woman in a tailored navy blue pantsuit, her stride calm, her aura commanding. Her name was Camille Stokes, 42, composed, and the CEO of Rexon Industries, a green tech company recently valued at $28 billion. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes. Camille wasn't here to impress. She didn't need to. Her success spoke louder than any introduction ever could. In her left hand, she clutched her Hermes briefcase. In her right, a double-shot espresso. Her assistant had just texted, "The boardroom is prepped. Good luck today." As she reached the gate, the scanner beeped green. She gave the attendant a nod, but before she could step onto the jet bridge, a pair of TSA agents approached with rigid expressions. "Ma'am," one of them said, hands resting near his utility belt, "please step aside." Camille raised an eyebrow. "Is there a problem?" The taller agent avoided her gaze. "We've had a complaint. We need to ask you a few questions." Passengers behind her slowed, whispering, staring. Someone pulled out a phone. Camille inhaled deeply, her patience simmering. "What kind of complaint?" she asked, voice firm. "We were told you were acting suspiciously, possibly attempting to board with fraudulent credentials," the officer muttered. She blinked. "My boarding pass was scanned. That's my name, my seat. Want to check my ID again. We'll need you to come with us." They didn't handcuff her, but they made sure every eye at the gate saw her being escorted off that plane, as if she were a criminal. The murmurs grew. A toddler cried. Camille's phone buzzed again. This time it was her legal team. Inside a bleak, gray room near security, she sat as the officers rechecked her documents. It took 20 minutes before one of them finally said, "Looks like everything checks out. Sorry for the inconvenience." Camille stared at them, her voice low and chilling. "You pulled a black woman off a plane not because of facts, but because someone made an assumption, and you acted without thought. That's not just an inconvenience. That's profiling." She walked out without another word, but her silence screamed louder than any protest could. Once outside, she called her CFO. "I want our next board meeting to include a motion to divest from SkyConnect Airlines," she said coldly. "All $4 billion of our transportation and logistics contracts. Pull them immediately." By noon, news had broken across every financial news platform. Rexon withdraws multi-billion-dollar partnership with SkyConnect. Reporters flooded her inbox. Twitter caught fire. Hashtags like #FlyingWhileBlack, #Camille Stokes, and #corporate consequences trended worldwide. But Camille wasn't done yet. The CEO of SkyConnect, Richard Lehman, called 3 times. She didn't answer. He sent flowers. She returned them. Finally, she agreed to a public Zoom call. The company live-streamed it to do damage control. Richard sat stiffly in his office, flanked by PR advisors. "Ms. Stokes, I want to sincerely apologize." Camille cut in, her gaze razor-sharp. "An apology doesn't erase systemic bias. One of your staff acted on a complaint rooted in prejudice. Your training, your leadership allowed that moment to happen. You lost $4 billion today, not because of me, but because of a culture you allowed to thrive." He swallowed. "What do you want us to do?" Her words dropped like thunder. "Start by investing that $4 billion you lost into bias training, hiring reform, and community outreach. Let that be your penance. Not for me, but for the next black woman who dares to fly first class." The internet erupted. CEOs across industries praised her boldness. Young professionals of color found courage in her stance. She didn't just hold power. She used it wisely, deliberately. 3 days later, SkyConnect issued a new policy mandating racial bias training across all departments. They fired the staffer who had filed a false report. But more importantly, they pledged to work with civil rights groups to reform their policies from the inside out. Meanwhile, Camille moved forward, calm, collected, victorious. She didn't gloat. She didn't need to, because sometimes justice doesn't need shouting. Sometimes it walks in heels, speaks in contracts, and signs its name across billion-dollar checks. Moral lesson. Discrimination wears many masks, but when power is used with integrity, it can dismantle the silent systems that let thrive. We must hold institutions accountable, not with rage, but with reason, action, and unwavering strength. If this story moved you, inspired you, or even made you think twice about the people we often overlook, don't keep it to yourself. Share this story. Talk about it. Let it spark a conversation in your home, school, or workplace. And if you want more real, raw, and powerful storytelling that entertains and enlightens, make sure you follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because these are the stories that change minds. And maybe, just maybe, change the world.